The Birmingham food revolution is here. Meet some of the local food legends at the forefront of the revolution.
Jeanette, we are in your very cool bar, Kilo Ziro, which is a zero waste bar. Tell me a little bit more about it.
So we only opened last year in April, and the whole concept behind Kilo Ziro is basically a follow-up of what we do at the Clean Kilo, but in the drinks industry. To give a bit of context, I probably need to talk about the Clean Kilo. So the Clean Kilo is our zero waste shop, and now it's in Bourneville. So the whole idea was to reduce plastic pollution. So we buy things in bulk, and we work with local producers and suppliers to create a circular economy. That means giving containers back to those people so that it's not a single-use packaging, basically. And also, obviously, along with that is local as possible. And so with Kilo Ziro, basically, it's that we're moving over to the drinks industry. So the idea was to see what is out there in the industry that is already a circular product. We're quite lucky to find that there are wine suppliers that have a circular keg, for instance. So they're sustainable wine solutions. It's an artisan wine, biodynamic, organic, and from artisan producers. And they will actually take back the keg and get it refilled, so each keg saves 96% of the carbon footprint. So for us, when we found out about sustainable wine solutions, we were still the Clean Kilo. So this space was still the original flagship store of the Clean Kilo. But at the time, there was a bit of a transition basically after the pandemic, and we wanted to bring the wine in, but we didn't know if it was suitable for just the grocery store. So we started thinking about, can this space be more of a sit-down space where people can have a glass of wine, and then we started looking at local producers as well. Most prominent being Tim, the beekeeper. I don't know if you've ever come across him. He's B9 Honey, basically. He's got hives on top of the custard factory and in Warwickshire as well. So the ones in Warwickshire, so the bees were pollinating a disused apple orchard. All these apples were going on the floor. Him and his friend decided to ask the farmer if they can take the apples and make 100% locally pressed apple cider. So yeah, it started from there really. So Tim came to us with Beekeeper's Bounty Cider when we were still the Clean Kilo, and we were like, wow, this is an amazing product. It's using waste apples, it's a local apple. We don't have an alcohol license, so maybe we can try a temporary license to sell the cider, and it kind of started from there, because then we started looking at local producers, obviously more circular options, and here we are today.
Amazing. And it's such a beautiful space that you've built here. It's absolutely gorgeous in here. And as well as your sustainable wine and cider that you mentioned, you also do waste cocktails.
Yes, that's right. So we started with the wine and the local produce, but then when we started doing the cocktails, the first menu was about how we can kind of reduce some ingredients if we don't need to ship it from so far away, for instance, some of the garnishes. So we started experimenting with citric mixes to replace the lemons and limes, or using a circular spirit. So the spirits that we have, basically they come in an eco pouch. So it's a 5-litre eco pouch, and that gets returned and refilled. So we wanted our cocktails all to have a sustainable element to it, or it could have been a local spirit as well, because there's many local producers. The second cocktail menu is when we took it a step further and thought, well, what about the food waste? Is there any kind of food waste already on the premises or at the Clean Kilo site? And that's when we started using surplus, such as the fruit and veg from the Clean Kilo, to mix into our cocktails, which again, it's a really, it's a real ingredient, not just a syrup ingredient. So obviously it brings another kind of taste profile as well.
Amazing. It sounds like a lot of fun developing all these menus and all these ideas, and I'm sure it is, but no doubt there's a lot of challenges as well. What are some of the challenges that you've faced as business owners?
I think with the menu in specific, I think it's kind of the extra time that it would take to create a menu that's a bit more unique, because obviously generally it's all about making the biggest margin, and obviously when you're trying to use something more sustainable or more local, or something that just requires a bit more thinking, that takes more time and costs more money generally, and to batch products maybe from fresh ingredients would take more time and money. So I guess that's a specific challenge with the menus. In terms of overall, I think there is still a cost of living crisis, obviously, so that has been felt in the area of Digbeth, particularly because we've had issues roadworks and stuff. I don't know if we want to get into.
Yeah, it all makes a difference when you're trying to survive as a business in an urban environment. Everything that's happening around you makes a difference to just, every customer counts, especially in this time that we're living through at the moment. Why do you think Birmingham is ready for a food revolution?
One of the main things the Clean Kilo wanted when we opened like 6 years ago was to have this network of independent producers and local suppliers supplying our store. But obviously the amount of the products we actually want to realise there wasn't a system set up like that to actually, that whole like local producers supplying a single store to actually like logistically get them over there. So I think like a food revolution to kind of shorten that supply chain in any way to support it, that would be really useful. I've noticed there's a lot more conversations in the last few years regarding obviously the food revolution, and hopefully like that's going to all come together. I think there's how many year plan is there to launch it officially?
2030 is
2030.
Yeah.
So, we're at the baby steps at the moment, but you got to start somewhere, and I think it's down to kind of individuals and even small organisations to do their bit, and hopefully that will raise awareness in the city.
Great, and I think that's what you are exemplifying so beautifully here. It's one small business, but it's leading the way towards a future that we all want to see. So thank you so much for your time and for your beautiful space that you've created. Jeanette, one of our local food legends.
Thank you.